Good morning. Are you too nice? You clicked on this video because you're a nice human being. I'm so glad that you're here. I love nice people, right? Don't you? Don't you want other people to be as nice to you as you are to them? But that's not your experience, is it? And you clicked on this video because likely you keep getting into situations with people that are taking advantage of that niceness and you're confused. Is it you that needs to change? Or is it the people that you're attracting that needs to change? We've all heard this saying a million times, right? If you're a man or a woman watching this, it's kind of irrelevant, right? Because everybody's heard like nice guys finish last, like that somehow you're turning off the otherwise would be smitten female by your amazing capability of being a good human, right? Or why men love bitches. And so women get the signal too. So I'm not even going to get into the gender conversation, masculine, feminine energy. I'm really not, because I really think that's kind of a lame discussion. This is really a human condition. And I want to answer some deeper questions for you today that I think are really going to be a lot more helpful than some book that you're going to buy on how to strategize and manipulate to get people to like you better by being somebody other than who you are. However, there are situations where maybe your niceness is crossing a line into something else. So that's what I want to discover today. I want to talk about like what is actually too nice? What the heck is that? Who is actually attracted to that? And when does it become a real problem for you? I'm Heidi, by the way. If you're new here, make sure you take a minute, and if you find value here, subscribe. It helps me tremendously. It also helps me a ton when you like the video, and you're a nice person, so I actually think you're going to do that. When you like the video, it helps me help more people, in all seriousness, okay? And of course, if you want more support at any time with any of these challenges, relationship challenges, because that's what I do. I help people that are in relationships that cause them anxiety, confusion, resentment, or pain, and they want to get to the bottom of these issues once and for all so they can have their happily after ever after, happily even after, and you deserve that too. So go over to lovecoachheidi.com if you want to learn more. So let's first talk about what is too nice. I am not, first of all, talking about people that are kind, warm, generous, vulnerable people. Those are actually just that's being a good human. And I'm going to tell you the people that are turned off by that behavior of people being like what they call too nice, that are just kind, warm, considerate, vulnerable, open, okay? Those people are dysfunctional people. Excuse me, that aren't attracted to that. I used to be one of those people that I'd be like, oh my God, they're like available, they're emotionally available, they're warm, they're sensitive, ugh, right? I get turned off by that. So there, if that's you and you're healthy and there's nothing unhealthy, and we'll get that distinction in a minute, that's not you. You're not the problem there. So if you're just kind of firing on all cylinders and it's not becoming something other than just being a good human, it's the people that you're attracting that just aren't ready and open and available for that. And we can work on that, but ultimately that's not really an issue. Right? So you don't want to lose that about yourself. You don't want to buy a book on how to become, more abrasive or toughen up or, become a bitch or whatever that those books are titled that, because that's not you and it never will be. And thank God. Okay? So it's better just to be yourself. Now, when does it become a problem? When it crosses over the line into two different things, like compulsive compliance. And compulsive compliance is where we continually set aside our own needs and go along with what everybody else needs. We become pathological people pleasers. And I'm using these terms compulsive and pathological because everybody wants to please to some extent. Everybody needs to be, compliant in some situations. But so when is it an issue is when it becomes really at the sacrifice of yourself. You become like the sacrificial lamb, putting your needs to the wayside so that everybody else has their needs met first. Now that's an issue. And then you start to lose yourself in the relationship. So what does a people pleaser do? Well, the first thing that they do is they withhold their true thoughts, feelings, opinions, and beliefs, especially when they tend to differ from other people. Like when you're dating or when you're in a relationship for a long time, you're thinking, you know what? I don't want to make this person disinterested in me. So I'm going to withhold that opinion because it's not popular, or I'm going to withhold how I'm feeling right now because I don't want them to judge me. Or, a pathological people pleaser is always looking for constant validation, approval, acceptance, appreciation. We cross over that line where we don't want to do anything that makes us look bad to that other person. The other thing that we do is we say yes when we mean no. We take on more than we want to. And that becomes an issue too, right? You'll notice that you have boundaries, but people are crossing, and you in your mind you have them. You're like, man, I know that I don't want them to be crossing my boundaries, but you never really quite get to articulating them, or you never quite get to following through on them. And so though you might think you have boundaries set up in your mind, and you get upset that people are constantly feeling like they're crossing those boundaries, you've never really made them known, because again, you're afraid to actually speak your truth because you're afraid they'll take their love away, or you won't be as valued as a result of that. All right. So pathological people pleasing, also you become a bit of a chameleon, don't you? You're used to kind of being whoever you need to be in the relationship in order to, again, have them want you. And so you kind of lose yourself ultimately. Now, why is this such a problem, and how do you know it's a big deal? Is because there's a piece of you, a part of you, that when you overgive, overcommit yourself, you constantly are on the lookout for what other people need, and you meet those needs even before they ask you. You're always looking around saying, oh, what do they need to be comfortable? What do they need to be happy? But nobody's doing that for you. Okay. What happens is the resentment starts brewing in you. You might even start to get really angry. Now you have an issue expressing that openly. So you might become passive aggressive in your relationships, and you might kind of hint at your discomfort and expect people to get it, but they never quite do. And what happens to you? You continue to get more and more resentful and angrier and angrier, until eventually sometimes people pleasers become that ticking time bomb where it's like, well, screw this, right? I don't care about anyone or anything. And you kind of get to that breaking point. So that's the difference. What is too nice versus just being a good human? Well, it's too nice when you get in that pathological people pleasing, or that compulsive compliance, where you know darn well your needs are going to the wayside, and because you can feel that resentment start to kick in. Genuinely nice people that it's not an issue for, they can give and give, and they don't feel that resentment. They don't feel that imbalance in their relationship. They don't feel that one-sided given to, it's I'm always giving and everybody else is always taking. That's how you know you've crossed the line. So who do you attract whenever you behave that way? Well, let's think about it. Who wants somebody who doesn't know how to share their opinions, thoughts, or behaviors, or keeps them to themselves? Who's going to find that most attractive? It's going to be somebody who really doesn't care what you think or how you feel, and they're more than happy just to let you squash your opinions in favor of their own. That's a person, that's a selfish person. Who's a person that's going to be attracted to somebody who's more than happy to just lose themselves and be whoever they need you to be? Somebody who has a control issue. That's who you're going to attract. Somebody who's perfectly fine controlling you and telling you who to be. Who's going to be fine? What kind of person is going to be attracted to you putting your needs last on the list and putting theirs first? A selfish person is going to be attracted to that. And so it can't be any other way. It can't be that you're going to attract another great person and you're both going to sit around and you're going to be like just pleasing the heck out of each other. When you're compulsively compliant and this becomes like a pathological thing for you, like a kind of crazy making behavior, and that's what I mean when I say that pathological behavior. What I'm talking about is like it's making you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. At the end of the day, it's not done because it's just It started out like who you are, but it crossed the line somewhere and it starts to make you a little crazy. So who's attracted to that are people that are more than happy to take from you, people that are more than happy for you to lay down your wishes and go to their whims and wishes of them. They're perfectly happy. This is a selfish person. A lot of the times this is going to be a narcissistic person, a person who is just self-absorbed. A lot of people that are lovers this way, man, it's really not your fault, because ultimately, at the end of the day, all you really want is love, right? All you really want is just somebody to give to you the way you freaking give to them. You want somebody who values a relationship as much as you do, who values closeness and connection as much as you do. And so your intentions are very pure, but because they cross the line and you lose yourself, you attract people who take advantage of that. And so, ultimately, what makes you most attractive? Research has shown, right? We've done a lot of studies on this. What makes somebody most attractive is two things. Number one, they're authentic. Well, many things, okay? But let's get down to two. Your authenticity. That means your ability to be you and just be who you are unapologetically. People like that, right? And you're like, oh man, they just speak it. They're just, ooh, I like that, right? The other thing is your confidence is most attractive. You can have somebody who's not the most beautiful looking person in the world, or the best in shape person, or the most successful person even, but ultimately their confidence, the way they walk into a room and they're there, or the way that they have faith in life and in themselves, and move through the world, makes you really attracted to that person. That's a person is a magnet. But you've lost both of those things when you cross the line into being a people pleaser, don't you? You lose yourself, you become that chameleon. So the authenticity's there in your desire to love, but you're not being your true self. You're being whoever you need to be, so you've lost that element of your authentic self. And then the other piece of that is you've lost your confidence because you're constantly wondering how they feel about you. Is your love being reciprocated? And it's not. And so that makes you lose your belief in yourself and your confidence in your ability to be in a relationship. So I can see how this would be difficult for you, and feeling like you're really swimming upstream and you're constantly struggling, self-sacrificing or settling in these relationships. And so, when is it really going to be your turn, right? When do you get to have the relationships that are equally mutually beneficial and that somebody just is able to love as much as you do? Well, it's going to have to start with you, all right? It's going to have to start with you. So what we have to do is get underneath the hood here and see, where did this kind of behavior start crossing the line for you? All behavior that's kind of dysfunctional or codependent, that's really what we're talking about as a form of codependence. People pleasing is a form of that. Where does all codependency originate? Well, it originates from usually your family of origin. When you're growing up or in whatever dynamic that you're in, you're just trying to survive, thrive, connect, or cope. And so you take on a set of strategies in a relationship to kind of get the love that you want. And if you have a difficult parent or an absent parent or a difficult go with your friendships and school and you're not getting the love you want, people pleasing is a really good strategy for a while, right? I'll just endear myself to other people. I'll just make myself, needed or wanted by being who you need me to be. And it works for a while. But then when you become an adult and you're tired of the crap, and you actually want somebody who does love you for you and who really knows you and appreciates you and really sees you, that behavior just stops working. So what we do is we get to the root of that behavior, we figure out where it came from, and then we undo that programming. We deprogram you to start thinking a new way, because the truth is, you can still maintain that deep ability to love that you have inside of you, that wonderful ability to be intimate and vulnerable and kind and warm and caring, without putting up with so much crap, without attracting the takers, because there are other healthy people who absolutely are ready and wanting what you have. But you have to stop with the unhealthy, dysfunctional pieces of this behavior that's preventing you from having that person, and that's helping you attract the other person that is detrimental to you, that's hurtful to you, that's withholding their affection, that's making you second guess yourself all the time, that's making you really crazy. All right. So let's get back to that original healthy, good human that you are, that healthy human, and get rid of the unhealthy, dysfunctional behavior that's keeping you stuck. Now, if you're ready to go deeper, like I said, that first step is awareness, and I've given you that step today. I've helped you kind of turn the light on and say, did I cross the line? Where am I in my health wise of, am I too nice, or is it a real problem for me? Look at that. Am I attracting people that, is she right on? Am I attracting these people? What's step two? Step two is get to work. That's where we start to root up some of these things. So if you're interested in going to the next step, let me come alongside of you. We have many ways that we're able to do that. You can go over to lovecoachheidi.com, send a message, and learn more about how to start detangling from some of these dysfunctional, toxic, codependent patterns, and start really revealing your true self and attracting the relationships that you really deserve. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you can identify with this. And in the meantime, take great care of yourself. Awareness is the first step. So sometimes just turning the lights on, I'll help you move a little bit differently in the world. I love you. Take great care. Subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you really soon. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.